Scott, welcome back to Australia. Thanks for joining us here. I believe this is your first trip to Queensland. How have you been finding it up here on the Gold Coast so far?
It's good. I'm adjusting. Got here yesterday morning, and it was good. I like the golf course. I like Australia a lot. I've never been this part. I've been Sydney and Melbourne on the nationwide tour, but never here. So I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm excited to be here for the week.
Okay. Now, you are here to play golf, but will you manage to get in a few tourist attractions?
I've got a few buddies that live down here and have played down here quite a bit, so we do dinner and go to the beach and all this and that, and send my wife some pictures and make her jealous. So, but enjoy the tournament and try to enjoy being down here as much as we can.
You mentioned the course. Have you had a chance to get out there and play it this morning?
Yeah, it was totally different. 9 holes, obviously, with the new changes and what it used to be. So it'd be really cool to see once all the changes take place next year and go. But the course is in good shape, and it's pretty impressive they've been able to turn it around in that short amount of time.
Questions?
Scott, you've won 3 times on the US PGA Tour. How do you feel your game is at the moment? I just looked up your record in the majors. You played 3 and missed all 3 cuts. So how do you feel you're going at the moment and trying to build on your career and playing down here in Oz?
Last year was a bit of a unique year. I won really early in the season, and everyone thinks you've got it all figured out. I'm probably almost a year into a complete, swing change and this and that. So, I was really good and really bad a lot last year. So, I kind of feel like I got a lot better understanding of how I go about, playing and preparing week in, week out, and definitely excited to play. And I was kind of ran out of tournaments towards the end of the year once I kind of felt like I started playing a little better, and definitely look forward to getting the year started.
Terry.
Scott, obviously your swing was working. Why would you bother to change it?
Well, you got to think for the long term. Just because it works for the short term, you got to think. I didn't really want another job, so they pretty much said, I was putting a ton of pressure on my back, and it was always nagging me. And I'd wake up one morning, it'd feel great. I'd wake up the other morning, I couldn't touch my toes, and being 27, 28 years old, that's a tough spot to be when you look at try to have a lengthy career. And I knew I was going to struggle. I knew it was going to be ugly at times, and I knew that there was going to be parts of it that I didn't really like, but I knew that, being able to swing a little bit better, a little bit more efficient would make me be able to play a lot longer. And, that's pretty much, a long story short, and a very lengthy conversation to kind of convince me to buy into it, and to the point where, I feel pretty comfortable with it now.
Jim.
Scott, is that one of the reasons you're in Australia, to get that extra tournament, that extra push into next year? Yeah, when we played in Malaysia and China, and I was supposed to play the first 2, the Masters and the Open, and I hurt my back in China. Just totally fluke incident, slipped, and not related to my golf swing at all. And I said, man, I need to go rest a little bit. Woke up Sunday morning of China and felt great, and kind of already made the change in the schedule, and went home and practiced a little bit. And I said, man, I need to try to play as many tournaments as I possibly can, to try to get ready for the PGA Tour. And I was presented with the opportunity and was very happy to take it. What was the fluke slip?
Just some weird. They had some ice, I guess, on the range, and it was melted, and I slipped, and very unathletic golfer.
With the way the field's put together this week, Adam Scott is the standout at world number 3. How many chances do you feel a course like this gives so many more in the field?
I feel like if you're here, you got a chance, and obviously I don't know as many guys here as I do normally in America, but obviously he's a big draw, and this is be cool to have an opportunity to see how he goes out there. But the golf course is new for a lot of people. Obviously there's 9 holes, and they're totally different, and so they present themselves in kind of a totally different way. So I'm not that far behind. I'm still behind, but not as far as I was last year.
Scott, what impressions do you have of the Gold Coast, and when you go back to the States, what will you be telling your golfing colleagues and mates about our part of the world?
I like it. It's totally different. Melbourne's totally different from Sydney, and this is totally different than Melbourne and Sydney combined. And it's pretty interesting to see. Australia and New Zealand are definitely some of my favorite places I've ever visited. We were very fortunate to be able to play both on the Nationwide Tour, and I always said if I ever had an opportunity to go back, I would go back in a heartbeat. And my wife's trying to get me to come down and play all of them next year. We have a young son, so it'd been a little difficult to travel with him for a week, but we love it down here. My wife studied abroad in the Sunshine Coast when she was in college, so she's very familiar with this area. And so I have a whole list of things that she told me to do. I said, I am playing golf, so she thinks I'm down here on vacation. So it's been great.
Scott, you said you got the swing bedded in now after the swing changes. What part of this course do you think is going to suit your game? Have you picked out a couple of holes you can be really aggressive at?
Yeah, yesterday was so much of a blur. We only got to play 3 holes before the storm came in, which was probably pretty good considering I was half awake. But, the golf course seems good. You got to kind of manage your game and kind of pick your spots for the most part. But there's a lot of opportunities to make birdies out there. But you just kind of continue to remind yourself that the 9s are totally different. Missing the greens on the back 9 are a lot more favorable. You can be a little bit more aggressive because it's not as penal around the greens with the slopes and everything that are on the front. And, par 5s for the most part are pretty gettable. And, just kind of understanding when you're going for the green on a par 5 on the front, be a little mindful that there are a lot more undulations, a lot more, cliffs and valleys in the greens and everything and stuff you got to deal with.
And it's great that your wife is so adept at promoting Australia for us. We're fantastic and pleased with that. But how do we get more American golfers with this wraparound schedule? How do we get them down here to Oz and get them playing some of our golf courses?
Golf is so different now. Our schedule and the PGA Tour the way it is, it's definitely all year round. The European Tour, they play more than we do, which is incredible. But we, it's a long way to travel, for a short couple weeks. But, it's almost, you need to think of it as a vacation, an opportunity to come play some great golf courses in a great country. And, it works out great for us because it's an opportunity to kind of play your way into the season. Some guys take a lot of time off, and, it just kind of all depends on the personality of the guy. And, a lot of people really, at the end of the year, they're just kind of done with traveling.
Do we have any final questions? No? Thank you so much for joining us today, and best of luck this week.
Thank you very much.